Good morning. Decided to go somewhere I've driven by plenty and haven't stopped at in a long time. Old elementary school. This playground where that is right now, that actually used to be the kickball field. So the backstop that's right over here, that was over here, and that was the old kickball field. And then we had a regular field, and of course the backstop, let's see here, back over here, that was always there. They're actually right along this side here, there used to be tires, like big tractor tires and all that. Got my buddy Jojo and Nate and I, we'd actually hang out at during lunch and recess and all that, and listen to Robin Williams, Night at the Met. Yeah, this is strange. And then the bricking on there is all new, and it's where he'd play basketball, wall ball, foursquare. They had the squares are actually still in there. Same with the hopscotch squares that the girls used to play on back then. Yep, they changed this out a lot. And as a kid, this used to seem huge. Right there on that little hill. So that's the, is that the gym? Yeah, that's the gymnasium, that building there. And that hill right there, they, each year during the summertime, they'd set up tarps and make a slip and slide. So kids can go play out on the slip and slide and all that during, because it would be at the end of the year that they'd do that stuff. You'd have a field day. You know, so like the last week of school, it was pretty much, not a lot of homework. And, yeah, we just, for most part, we'd still do some learning stuff, but it was kept easy, and extended lunches, that type of stuff every now and then, if I remember right. Because, yeah, we'd get to go over, yeah, like I said, we get to play, or do the slip and slides up in here. Right in here, we were playing, we played flag football and all that. Yeah, it's crazy that I'm looking at this right now, because this is probably the only thing left from back when I was a kid that's still here, that's in the same spot. Same with the backstop back there. Because yes, this is the same bench from when I was a kid, and it wasn't overgrown. It was actually kind of new looking when I was a kid. It's just really weird to come here and look at this. But yes, this backstop was here when I was a kid in this spot, everything. Same with these benches, but yeah. And the trail that we were just walking on actually used to go right behind it, go all the way around, and all that stuff. It was new at the time for us. In fact, they recovered it up, because it used to go right along the edge, all the way around, and then back around. And when, like, what was it? Do like the walk, the walk a mile thing or something like that, we'd walk around it so many times to do the mile. I think it was like 4 times is what it turned into. It was like 4 or 5 times. So strange to, when you get point of view from as a kid to an adult. This field going from way over there, which really isn't that far, it's about maybe a football field away, 100 yards away, to the goals that are out there. This is probably about 200 yards from one end to the other. That's a guess. I could be off on that. It could actually be 100 yards the more I look at it. I haven't been even on a high school football field for some time, but it'd take forever for my short little ass to run this thing, jog around it, do all that stuff. So I think what I'll do is I'll work around the back way, the back side of the building, because on the opposite side is where my classrooms were when I was real young. And then before finishing school here, it ended on this side. So I figured should I? Yeah, why not? So let's come up here real quick. I see they took out the old gym structure thing out here too. It was like an exercise structure thing that they had right here where these bushes are. They had a pull-up thing out here, and these little step things that you stepped on with the front pad of your foot, and then you put your heel down towards the ground to stretch your calves. So this section would have been the 3rd and 4th grade classes. And my classroom, in fact, yeah, these are 3rd and 4th grade classes. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah. So we're gonna go all the way to the beginning here. So over here, these, at the time, I don't know what they are now, but this would have been kindergarten through 2nd grade. And of course, both sides of this hallway here. So there's like 6 or 7 classrooms. You'd have 2 classes for kindergarten, 2 for 1st, 2 for 2nd. So yeah. Let's see. I'm not actually going to try and go in or anything. Oh my God, this is... So, my classroom was right there. This entry right there. That was Miss Shuey's class. That was my 1st grade teacher. And then, in fact, actually, I'm wrong. This was my 1st grade class. Right here. And then my 2nd grade class was that one there. Miss Shuey's. Or Miss Wardell. I had Miss Shuey here and Miss Wardell right there for my 2nd grade class. And if you walk straight ahead and to the right, you'll actually head towards the cafeteria. Now, I'm gonna... I was trying to flip the camera because there's kids out here and I don't want to get them on the camera. I just woke up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. But let's see here, yeah. So then I'm gonna start on at the doorway so it's easier to point out the room. But my 4th grade class, because in the 3rd grade we ended up moving back up to Washington to Fort Lewis. And Dad finished his last year of the military there and retired, and then we came right back. But, oh man. So yes, again, sorry for the... So then you had, if I remember right, this classroom here was Miss Michimoto's. Then you had, oh God, I can't remember the teacher's name there now. But again, actually... My 4th grade class, Miss Steiner's class, would have been, so 1, sorry, see if I can position this right. 1, 2, 3. So it's again, it's the 2nd entry up, because just past that was the other 4th grade teacher's class. And so, let's see if I can actually show the classroom. It's not obviously going to look the same from when I was a kid. I mean, crap, we still had the green chalkboards. And I find a piece of chalk. So let's see here. I believe, I don't want to step on any of the plants. Is this one it? No, this one isn't it. Unless they switched it around. This one's it. Right here. I recognize it now. So it wasn't the second entry, it was the third one. But, let's see. I don't know if you can see in there. Let's see if I can do this right. I'll flip. This was my 4th grade class. My 4th grade class. Now, the reason why I remember this is because it's hard to see. At the other end of the class where this glare's at, my desk used to be right there. And, yeah. Yeah, my desk used to be right there, and we used to do these 100-question things. Let's see here. Oh, wow, they covered it. Holy crap, they covered it. So this is kind of like an atrium. So right over here to the left, past the hula hoops and stuff like that, that goes to the hallways, to the 1st and 2nd grade classes and stuff. And then the orange doors right there is through the... Sorry, I was covering the microphone. Those orange doors right there, that's the cafeteria. And about 20 feet from those doors, I'll just say that's where my life basically began. So crazy to see how covered it is. But then, of course, let's see if I can do this. Yep. Through those doors, that leads to the rest of the school. Goes to the 3rd, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade classes, that type of stuff. And so, from here, we'll take an adventure around and keep going down further. I'd love to be able to go in the school. It's locked up right now, and I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know if you're allowed to do that stuff these days, like when classes are out and school's out. I don't know if you're allowed to go and visit and check them out real quick. I don't know. So... feels like my life began here and ended here, to be honest. And ever since then, I've just felt like pretty much a walking corpse. On days that, holy shit. I was just talking about this to you. She was the 3rd and 4th grade teacher here. Holy crap. So she... Damn. She was really young. She was like in her mid-20s when she started working here. Early 30s, something like that. Really nice teacher. The fact that was so fucking cool. Sorry, there's some things that... This was the happiest time of my life. And that sign there with the cricket, that was there obviously when I was a kid. I might have to go around and get a better view of things, because I'm wondering if they still got one of the murals that, either of the 2 murals that I helped paint here at the school. I had 2 years, maybe 3 years of my life that I wasn't dealing with nonstop hell back then. I didn't have any more aunts or uncles or cousins by that point, because it was by the time I was in the 3rd grade and after my grandma passed away. I wanted nothing to do with that, with my mom's side of the family, because of how I was treated by all of them, because of things my older brother did. So they immediately and automatically put me into that bucket, not realizing that my older brother had abused me for damn near 3 straight years, and they thought it would be a good idea to re-abuse that abuse by putting me into that bucket with him. I pray no woman ever has to experience that. I'm still a bit angry and hurt by that stuff. So this, obviously, right here, this was the school janitor's office, and all. We got to work with them. And then let's see here. Oh, the way the sun is doing things. Here, Aaron, so can we see in there? No. I'll have to go to another spot. This was one of in fact, this was the art room. That was the art room. That's what that was. That was the art room. It's where we got to do the print t-shirt things. And it's where we also had kind of started a little toga party thing. And then it went, yeah, that wasn't for the school dance, but yeah, we had like a toga party there. Here's the side entries. So yes, okay, yeah. I'll show you guys that spot because holy shit, the old student store's still there. So I was telling you, there's the gymnasium. I used to play basketball and all here at the school. There's the old student store. I have my old 5th or 6th grade yearbook where I was working in it. I really hope they didn't cover up the mural. Yeah, it looks like they covered the one, but that's okay. It's crazy that the old student store is still there, though. Wow. The fact that they covered this up. This used to be... Okay, my main classroom was on the other side. This was like... Again, this was... Yeah, these were the 6th grade classes. So this was like, if I remember right, this was Miss Metz's class. This one here, hard to see. We'll have to probably go through the other windows. Where this one was Mr. Bellamy's class, which again, hard to see. He was the other 6th grade teacher. And we'd rotate between the two classrooms. I had 3 classrooms because I was in the special ed class. And again, not because I was stupid. It's because I didn't do well in large groups of people. So yeah, this will be a little easier to see. So yeah, this was the 6th grade, one of my 6th grade classes. Right in here. Hard to see. They're not very gigantic classrooms. I think, if I remember right, my class was like 20, 30 people. And then this here... This was my primary classroom from 5th grade into 6th grade. They used to have beanbag chair right there where that desk is at. And then our class at one point ended up building a race car, as they would call it. They ended up buying not buying a race car. We built a race car with the school janitor. It was just a soapbox car, and we had a little derby thing. I actually have a picture of that still. And then here, we had my 5th grade class, which is this one here. This was Miss Parker's class. For some reason, I don't know why I can't remember the other teacher. I really don't know why. These were the only 2-3 years that I was not bullied by people. I wasn't being abused outside of my home. That's the thing. School is my favorite place to go. At the time, because that's, yeah, the people have, I was still getting bullied, but by 5th and 6th grade, I dealt with most of the bullying from home. And then when in school, yeah, I was in the special ed class, but I still dealt with bullying from some of the other boys. It was the girls that I didn't get the bullying from. It wasn't until middle school, high school that it happened. Wow. Then there's the old music room. I played, had me on snare drum for a bit there, and then they were gonna have me on, what is it, the tuba or the trombone thing, and they weren't gonna have me do that because I have these nodules, these bumps that are on my vocal cords that do flare up every here and there. But because of that, they didn't want me using a fluted or air instrument, not to irritate that. The teacher had the same thing, and so anytime she tried to do like the singing aspect of the classes, her throat would get, her voice and everything would go out rather quickly. And then yeah, so yeah. And then of course these are the offices right here. Ironically, I didn't get into a lot of trouble. Isn't that strange? I didn't really start getting in trouble in school until high school, when there was too many kids and I started skipping. See, this is the part I'm not used to. There was no carpeting. In fact, why do I feel like that's actually the original entry and it wasn't this close? I could be. Yeah, it could be. Otherwise, they put in second entry for safety because there's the offices there. In fact, yeah, that was the main office. So it's still the same. Just, yeah, strange. And then this big empty spot right here, there used to be a big white building. It was the original school that was here. And they used to have the book, well, you have book fairs here at the school, inside the regular school, but not in that building. They had other, they had like a bookstore thing where they'd pull all the old school books, the textbooks, and all that stuff, every couple of years, and then sell them from that building. That building was haunted and still had some of the students in it. Might as well say, I like the Cougar Walk, because that's what we end up becoming after this. Go from crickets. So right in front of those doors, this is the cafeteria. So right about where these two tables are, I'd say that table in the middle. So you got 1, 2, 3, the one in the middle. My life basically began in that spot right there. Probably ended just as fast. That was the happiest time of my life, was right there. Outside of where my kids were concerned and getting to be a dad to my younger son and even to my stepdaughters and everything like that, that moment right there is what it had changed my life. I didn't have friends before that moment. I had school acquaintances, people I hung out with at school and talked to at school. I never had friends that came over. I didn't have friends that I got to go to their houses, anything like that. And that moment, right in that room right there, changed my life because of one person. I would have never had the close friendship that I had with my brother, and I wouldn't have met anybody else from that. I would have continued to be alone the rest of my life, kind of like I am now. If I had known I had Asperger's then, I don't think my life would have turned out the way it went. And it wouldn't have been one individual person to actually have impacted my life in such a way, and in a profound way, that I ended up making the best friends of my life that even though my brother's gone and passed away, I still have my brother Nate. Yet I still, again, would not have, that domino effect, that ripple effect that was created from that, I would not have had the friends that I had. In all honesty, I would have never had kids. That's how crazy it sounds. I understand ripple effects and domino effects. That's why I say this. I understand them very, very well. And so, you know, it's sad to see all the cameras and the security stuff and all. Now, we didn't have to worry about people doing crazy shit back then. But, no, that was literally the happiest time of my life right there. And just trying to shake it off. But it's sad that out of 43 years of life, only 3 of it turned out to be the best fucking part of my entire life. Only 3 of it. Where everything else has been nothing but disappointments, loss, everything. And so it's like, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't change any of it. I've had to learn to live with it. It'll never make me... Oh, gotta get a different angle because of this sunlight. It's just, yeah. I try my best not to allow the things I have gone through and the things that have been done to me to affect how I treat others. We all have our breaking moments. Sorry. I'm gonna wait till I get to the truck so it's easy to talk because I feel awkward. But no, we all have our moments when we get hurt and all that, and we're going through some shit, and somebody that isn't even a part of it says or does something, and it accidentally triggers you, and you snip at them or snap at them, whatever. And we all have had those moments, and then we feel like shit afterwards. You know, I've had that a few times. You know. Hands are not that big. I'm wiping down. But I ended up keeping that piece of chalk. A little souvenir from my old school. But no, I've tried to learn from that stuff, and some of the things that I learned even when I was in the special ed classes, that, you know, we all have our serious differences. Like I said, in that classroom, I went to school with a girl that was blind, who was one of the coolest people ever. Went to school with kids on various levels of spectrum, like myself. Went to school with one kid that I'm not gonna say anymore, but I've already brought him up more, you know, before, and he's a really good guy. He's no longer a he. But in my mind, it's still a he because I haven't seen him since. But I know differently because of his sister. I was friends with his older sister for a short bit there before she passed away from a diabetic coma, and that was some shit. I feel bad for my old buddy Wilma and all that because he was really close to her. She was a really good person. Yeah. The reason why I continue to love people is because I know we can lose them at any moment, whether it's to death or to bitterness and anger, or to family and friends who don't like you because you don't fit in with them, or you don't have enough that they like. I just don't understand why people fall in love with somebody knowing that their family's going to hate them. Like, why would you put somebody through that? Why would you get with somebody knowing that your family's just going to rip you two apart? And that the person that you're with doesn't fit in with your family, so they're just going to target you no matter what, unless you pretty much bend to their will. I don't understand some of that stuff. I don't, you're not there to marry the in-laws. And that's any man or woman. You're not there to marry the in-laws. And if the in-laws can't accept you simply because of looks, money, whatever the excuse is, and nothing legitimate, and things have to be manipulated to become legitimate, that should tell you what kind of family you got. Let alone, probably tell you not to take it, probably tell you to realize that you're the one in the relationship with that person, not your family. Your family are the ones who should have to deal with it. I would, it's like whenever my mom, when she'd start to pull her shit of talking shit about my kids' mothers, even now, well, I can't say now. I'm not going to say now. I'll just say up until my mom even had her, up until my mom had her strokes. There was even after her first stroke, oh yeah, my mom definitely, what's crazy is even actually now in this state of mind that she's in, she definitely dislikes my older son's mom because of what she's done and the things that she's done to this family. The irony of it is my mom's at fault for a lot of things because my mom's the one that hooked her up with the wrong people. My mom thought it was a good idea to do a lot of stupid things, and a lot of it was at my sacrifice, my loss, my heart, my hurt, everything. And so, yeah. It's just how my mom was. So, I mean, it's no big surprise. It's just how my mom was. My mom really didn't like anybody. She'll like you at first, be really nice with you, have a really good relationship with you. But the moment you do something fucked up, you're pretty much forever on a shit list. My oldest son's mom knows this for a fact. My younger son's mom, not really. She'd get it, she'd pop on and off the shit list, but she never really, yeah. That's why, like when my mom would start to spout her mouth off, I basically would tell her to eat it. Because I was like, you're not the one who's going home to them. You're not the one who's in love with them. You're not the one who's, wanting to give your life to them. So why the hell should you give a shit about what they do and all this stuff? It wasn't until this other crap started coming out and the abuse started happening that I still stuck up for my older son's mom to my family, even though my mom and dad and all that stuff had right to make the judgment that they did. Anyways, I don't want to carry on with this. And I've been trying to break away from a lot of this stuff. It's just I recognize that when you're in a relationship with somebody and you're committed to them, you got to be willing to defend them even from your own friends and family. Not join in with your friends and family to abuse them. So, have a good day and happy St. Patrick's Day.